On March 24, 1942, Civilian Exclusion Order No. 1 was issued, designating Bainbridge Island as the first place where American citizens of Japanese ancestry, immigrant Japanese, and their families would be forcibly removed from their homes. Islanders were allowed only 6 days to organize their homes, businesses, and lives before packing only what they could carry to take with them. Community members on Bainbridge stepped up and helped their friends.
Bainbridge is a very exceptional place. There were people here that were willing to stick out their necks for us, even before we left and while we were gone.
Throughout the West Coast, many of the farmers couldn't finalize plans for their farms in such a tight timeline and were forced to turn their land over to the Farm Security Administration for disposal. But on Bainbridge Island, many Japanese strawberry farmers made arrangements with trusted employees and friends who would care for their farms while they were gone. It was because of these relationships that most of the islanders who owned land had something to return to. Felix Narte Jr. remembers.
Well, my dad and his uncle, my uncle, when they were asked to take care of that land, it was basically to pick the strawberries and just basically watch the house, For taking care of that, when the Kitamoto family came back, Mrs. Kitamoto and Mr. Kitamoto, Frank and Shigiko, they gave my dad 1 acre of land, which is the house I live on now.
When Arnold Raber, who lived on the farm adjacent to the expansive Cora Strawberry Farm, found out his neighbors would be leaving the island, he offered to buy the Cora farm for $1. Throughout the war, he took care of the farm, and when the Coras returned, he sold it back to the family for $1.
I know people like the Woodwards and their paper, but also the Myerses with their insurances. I mean, people wouldn't sell people insurance here when we got back. And he said, this is crazy, I mean, they fought on the war and so forth. So he talked to his boss and said, we need to give these people insurance. So he quietly went around getting insurance for people who wouldn't be able to get that. And I know the Andersons from Anderson Hard were paid some back taxes on the Haruy property when no one did, so that they wouldn't be taken over. People like Mr. Burkhalter, was an attorney, did some legal things for people. I know Mr. Barnett, who came here to the island later, but he, defended Hirabayashi and so forth. So there were some very significant people on this island. The Quakers, who stood up for us. So in a lot of ways, this is a very special island.
Due to the efforts of the community, people like the Woodwards, the Filipino farmhands, Arnold Raber, and Kenneth Myers, the Japanese Americans of Bainbridge Island remained connected and had a home to return to after the war. More than 50% of the Japanese Americans from Bainbridge returned to the island, one of the highest rates of return of any locale on the West Coast.